Hi everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I have the last part of Everyday Explorer's mini book adventure to put together. I believe this is part 4. Did I already say that? Well, it's part 4. I have walked you through the planning process of how I put this together in batches, and I have slowly put this album together over the last 2 months, and it's done now by the end of this video. I have a block of stamps all set out. You can see that, and then I just used a bone folder to kind of roughly measure the spot for the paper that I wanted. I am working on a cheetah page where we saw the cheetahs. And in my journaling, I'm going to talk about how we loved seeing the cheetahs because there was 3 of them. They were all siblings, and I had taken a picture of the sign, so I was able to include their names in the journaling. And it was really cool to just see them run around together and play together. It was cool. I stamped "Love This" and "The View from Here." I then decided to add in some suns like I've done before in another page, and also the dotted lines from the Kari Stiles. I don't know what the stamp set is called, but it's the crop one with the crop shape in it. I will link it if it's still available, but I'm just adding several lines of that. It adds a great movement and it just lets your eye travel around the page. So I had to add those, and also I've done it before in this book, so it creates that consistency. Before I move on to my next page, I wanted to measure out the journaling block that I have. I talked about that in another video. That's going to be really helpful when I go to do my clear sticker journaling. My daughter got a little souvenir. She was actually very hot, and we were up in the high desert, so it was hot, and she needed some sort of hat. We didn't have a spare, so we got her one from the gift shop, and she looked awesome and adorable, if I have to say adorable. I decided to take 2 pieces of paper and go ahead and stamp all of my phrases, so that way I didn't have to just do them one at a time as I'm going through the pages. I thought it would make it faster to do it this way. I may have done it this way in another video for this project, but I can't remember. But to me, it was a lot easier to just get out the pieces of paper and stamp all my sentiments that I wanted to stamp, since I already had them out on that big block. I also opened up the journaling where the brother and sister stamps are going to go, and added adventure time and then brother sister. I'll add an "and" later on. So this is where I keep going with my stamped sentiments, and I stamp some of them twice just in case I want to use them on my page. And I have things like "love this place," "add to favorites," "adventure time." So just any of the stamps that I have on that I'm using with this project. There was a mini 3x4 stamp set. I'm not sure if it's available, and also the stamp set that came with the mini book. Now I am going to cut these out. Funny story that I have to share is when I was cutting these out, I could not for the life of me figure out where my small orange scissors are. And finally, I just decided to ask my daughter when she came home from school later that day, and she's like, "Oops, I think I took them." I was like, oh my goodness, you made me think that I was having like a brain fart or something, because I could not remember where they were. It wasn't me, it was my daughter. She had taken them for a project and forgot to give them back. But in the meantime, I am making these giant scissors work so I can cut out all of these sentiments. And I think doing it this way allowed me to get every single sentiment that I needed to complete this mini book, because I only have 3 more pages after this one. I really loved the green in the background of my daughter's photo, so I went ahead and did some of the 1-inch circles. And then I had a little scrap of the striped paper that had the green and blue and kind of cream white, so I went ahead and punched those out as well. I added half of a circle down by the sentiment that says "love this place." At first I had adventure time, but then once I flipped it open, I realized I already had adventure time. So I'll replace it with "love this place." So half the 1-inch went below that sentiment, and then the other half went on the inside journaling. So really simple to just put these pages together and just try not to overthink it, and just make the clusters to allow the eye to travel around the page. Added in a camera and 2 circles to my daughter's page, and also add to favorites because that photo is in my favorites folder on my phone, and it is a favorite photo. I need to get it printed. I really do. Is anybody else really bad at like hanging up photos? I hang up some photos in the house and then I forget to rotate them or add. So it's on my to-do list. Anybody else have that on their to-do list? I do. So the next page is this awesome photo that my son took of us, and I decided to do kind of a little different design. I had 2 scraps left of the dotted yellow paper, but on the back it was solid. So I took the solid and put it below the stamp sentiment. Perfect photo spot. Later on, I'll decide to use that for the journaling spot. To this lizard photo, I added a green circle and also a yellow circle to tie in with the yellow on the left-hand side. At the last minute, decided to add best view ever up in the top left corner of our photo, and then also another little strip of yellow. It was a different shade of yellow, but in the grand scheme of things, it'll all work together. I have several photos that didn't make it in any of the pages, but I knew that there was this page in the back. It's not quite a grid, but I'm going to go ahead and use it as a grid. So I pick a photo of my daughter and I, the Reno sign, 2 animals that didn't make it in the animal pages, and I also decide that I need to use the envelope one more time for consistency. Otherwise, it probably would have bugged me that I only used it once in the album, or twice. So I'm going to add some borders of the torn envelope, and I love how it came out. It came out awesome. I'm leaving 2 spaces for stickers and stamps. I think I meant to leave one of the blocks up in the top right corner on the right page where the desert photo is, but I wound up leaving them both on the bottom row. That's okay. So I tore my envelope, and now I'm going to tear the second piece, and I'm kind of measuring it to eyeball it and make sure that they're the same width, and then I will trim it a little bit, and I will also use another scrap that I found of the striped paper, and I will just carefully cut that in half. It's probably not straight, but you know what? I'm using every last bit of this kit except a lot of the stickers. I didn't use a lot of the stickers, but all the paper pretty much all gone. And so I use the stripes and then a large map and adventure time and the view from here. I decided to use memories and stamp that. I wound up putting the stamp, I think, too far over on the large block. So I'm going to have to fix that in a minute once I get these stripes on. I thought having the memories in the bottom right corner would be a great idea since I will have the journaling on the left-hand side. So you can see I kind of scooted over the memories and stamped it. The last page that I have is these great photos of my family and I standing in front of a bird sign that kind of tells you how long your wingspan is compared to different birds. We love going to zoos, and whenever we find one of these, we always do it. And so it's great to see the pictures, and I love it. So I had to include them, and I just staggered them and tucked them under each other and trimmed off a bit on the top of my husband's photo and then the bottom where my daughter's photo is. And just did them in the order, the order of birth. I added family and a camera up at the top and just trimmed the camera straps that were hanging off and added love this place. And that's it. Then I went to my computer and I had to figure out all of my journaling. Now, when I went to my computer to figure out the journaling, I pulled up the photo holder folder full of photos, and I kind of looked at the videos and I took my notes that way and kind of had that help me jog my memory. Now, the longest story wound up being these goats, which I knew it was going to be because once I watched the videos, it was hilarious. There was this grandpa goat, and that's why that photo was the main photo. So I talked about Grandpa Goat and how he was the leader and attacking everybody. He was attacking every other sheep and goat and trying to get the food. So I had to rip off the card I had there. I had one more red scalloped. It turned out wonky, but that's okay. I was still able to keep the same card and design. Added in the journaling, and I can keep moving forward with the journaling. And I do have to say that measuring out the exact boxes that I needed worked so well. Even with that hotel key, that was perfect. And so I'm really glad that I did that. And I think that that's a really helpful tip when you're trying to use clear sticker journaling. So I did some journaling about going out to the pizza place and the ice cream place, added that to the inside portion. And then the outside portion is talking about the kids. For this cheetah one, this is where I talked about the 3 siblings and their names, and they were just so much fun to watch. I'm probably not going to pronounce their names right, but it was Tambo, Amani, and Jabari. Really cool to see those. Added in the and for brother and sister, and also the journaling, because the spot where the kids and then my husband and I in this photo are standing, we went there a long time ago when our son was really little. So it's kind of like a special spot that we love to take photos. As you can see, I decided at the last minute, like I told you, to use this journaling block, this paper as a journaling block. So I had to kind of slice up my journaling. And since I'm coming back later on to do the journaling and put it together, you can see I now have my orange scissors. So life is much easier now cutting up those things. So splicing up the journaling worked fine, and I was able to keep going with my journaling. I added in the date that I finished it and how my favorite adventure is with my 3 people. And in the front, I added in not the date that I started it. I put the mini book belongs to our family. So everybody was in the house, so I just wanted to do a quick little flip through over the voiceover and just show you how the album came together. And I'm so happy to have another vacation documented. I think I got close to 60 photos in this album, and I love it. One kit, 60 photos, and a planned out plan in batches and collages, and it just turned out wonderful. I absolutely love this album, and I hope that all of you have enjoyed seeing it come together and have gotten some tips and inspiration on how to make your album. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. All right, I hope you have a great day. Bye.